Um, I want you guys to watch a movie called Obsolete, and it was created or made by two people. Oh gosh, I always forget his name. They're married, and they are the founders of Truth Stream Media. Truth Stream Media, and I know we don't like to read a lot, but at least watch the movie. And watch the movie seriously. And I know that it'll be a lot of things that you don't. It may be boring to you, or you may lose interest because it involves things that you don't have a clue about nor take seriously, but you should, instead of being in a position where other races make decisions for your own race, right? But nevertheless, it more or less talks about the fact that how technology is about to take over everything. And then the fact that the members of the dominant society are, this whole thing is making them uneasy. We should definitely be very worried, more worried than they are, because we are at the bottom. We are a permanent subculture, it very intentionally. Okay, we are, or sub whatever. We're underneath everybody. So when you have the poor of the dominant society, we're underneath them. Okay, so whatever's happening, and if you see things like they're telling you in a lot of things. They're telling you a lot of movies. I just watched the Expanse, and just how it is to that level, to like all these different futuristic type of movies and little sitcom things that they've been pumping out for the last 5 to 10 years. They're telling you how it's going to be, you know, uh, cashless society. You know, there might be a dowels, or what this particular film talks about is a UBI, a universal basic income. Why? Because the elites, the powers that be, they go to the Bilderberg meetings every year, know that technology is going to displace or eliminate at least 40% of the workforce. Not not oh, we're taking the jobs overseas. It's done. It don't exist anymore. And there was a Frontline, I think it was a Frontline documentary that was recently done on AI, and it said, and one of the founding people of this AI technology, he said, the amount of jobs that are going to be created still will not compensate for the percentages of people that are just going to be without work. Um, Meaning in job creation, meaning, things that we don't know that are going to be necessary once, everything gets in full swing. My thoughts are possibly maybe, people who can repair robots, things like that. Repair technicians. I already got the ones going around delivering food and things like that. You have the drones and things like that. So, there's probably all those things, and maybe coding and things like that. But 40% of the workforce is going to lose their jobs in this country. Now, what a lot of us don't realize is that a lot of the jobs that we do, even the white collar jobs, are going away. A lot of the jobs that Black people are employed to do are going away. It is going to hit us the hardest, for one, because those are the most of the jobs that we do. And for two, we don't have any family built up wealth. Okay. I even see a lot of poor for, you know, economically wise, as far as, poor as far as what they're bringing in, household poor, dominant society people that be in these food lines. But you hear them talk, and they still have, a family cabin, or land that's been in their family that they will not let go, and they will hold on to. It doesn't matter, if they're eating air sandwiches. Okay. But it's it's going to affect us. You have things like, obviously, the trucking industry is going to be affected, not all the way, but I definitely believe, I would say about 30% of the routes, rides, and that's going to go away. You're going to have a lot of the low service level jobs that a lot of us work go away. A lot of the white collar jobs, um, the levels in which we are, whether it be in the different functions, where whatever it is, it's going away. Whether it's, you're a supervisor, it doesn't matter, a worker, you process and whatever. um they even have technology now where it's replacing paralegals. They have technology that's going to replace underwriters, that's in mortgage, and I'm pretty sure there's underwriters for insurance and everything else. So that means all of those, that's going to be a domino effect. And those are good jobs. Those are like 80 plus $1,000 a year. Okay. uh Jobs of, like, loan auditors and loan processors. They're already, coming up with technology. A lot of companies are their own individual technology to kind of basically, they're saying and they're pitching it as they're, making your process and your work day easier. What it is the end game is to downsize the human resource, right? Because it's going to be cheaper once they get the technology up and going and running and working out the kinks. But they're going to play you like, oh, it's just going to make, things better for you and the process more smoother and less errors or whatever, you know. But of course, they're going to tell you that because they don't want you to panic. Okay. But once the technology, everything, all their plans, because they do it in sections. Once everything is in place and it's running smoothly, and the tests and the projections and the numbers that they're running, they're doing massive cutoffs. Okay. Um, so it is something that we need to pay attention to. My fear, or what I think is going to happen, um, that we are, you could, because it would just, there's going to be so many people, so by the hundreds of thousands, I believe, in this country that are going to be displaced, that they're going to uh, offer um, places for these displaced people to go and have food and shelter. Some of you know them as Walmarts, and detention centers, FEMA camps. Okay, and they will um, frame it as, this is where we have food, this is where we have, water. You have square meals, you ain't got to worry about you being from the weather, blah 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 blah. They're going to frame it that way. You need, but that's where people going to be going. So there's the million dollar question, is what they're going to do, all these camps and things like that, because jobs are going away. Couple that with the fact that our fiat currency, they've been kicking that can down the road for a long time, and it's something how they have it structured. It wasn't supposed to last as long. So something's going to give, and they want to go to a cashless system anyway within the next 10 years. This is not, my people. We slow on stuff. We slow. We pay too much attention to the wrong things. I mean, so you have some of us is getting on track, but we going back. It's like, okay, yeah, it's good to go back, because we need to go back to help us with what's coming. Like with, so you have some groups that are, doing it the political route. You have other ones that are reviewing history as far as a learning process. And, they say, you have to go learn the past to know what's going on. True that, but you can't spend too much time in that, because right now we are really past the threshold to where we can bounce back. Like, we're done. They even said that our total wealth will be less than 0.007%. And that's with the Oprahs and the Jays and all of them. So what are you going to, like, And on top of that, we are a people who is only free due to a law. No other people on the planet are in that predicament. You have to think about that. Like, I'm uneasy about that. Like, everybody's talking about reparations, and yeah, I understand that, but why is it that, my freedom is governed by another people? Like, at any moment, at any time, one of these bigots, or it could be something catastrophic that happens, like, major job losses, and maybe that raw spelled backwards, or something, emp, something that happens, some type of catastrophe, where resources are limited. And again, they're going to take care of theirs, even the ones that are at the bottom, the poorest of their poor before us. And but though there's still going to be some of them, now don't get me wrong, but you're going to have millions of people that are going to be not able to feed themselves, not even to be able to buy a house or rent, or get around, because there's just nothing there. What are you going to do with those people? You're going to round them up. It's only logical, because they already have transient in most cities. They have homeless laws. You can't feed the homeless. You can't, to be a transient in some areas, it's against the law. They're already setting it up. So if they're outlawing being homeless, instead of fixing the problem as to why, and actually you're about to make it worse, they're putting the laws in now. I tell everybody all the time, it's the puppet and the puppet master. We never see the hands that's manipulating things, and everything, it just looks like, oh, it's our fault, or this or that, or this and that, and we blame game, or maybe you're lazy, or this or that, but no one's really ever really paying attention. See, so and remember, these people operate in a way that is generational. So it's not like, boom, we in your house. It's like, oh, 1950 we do this, 1960 we do this. This is the plan for this. 1970 is this. 19, you know what I mean? What's it? Oh gosh, I want to say it's NASA, but it's called like the future. I gotta pull it up, but it's like NASA or something. Where they're literally, this is what, and they talk about, as far as what their plans are. And we just, like I said, with Black folks, we just don't pay attention to nothing. We just don't, we don't pay attention to anything. I'm trying to see if I can quickly find this in one of my Facebook groups. We don't, we want to song and dance and sing and dance and make up, things, and be, and, gossip. And we just want to drink and smoke and screw and whatever, or be in other folks' business, or we want to laugh. We don't take a lot of things seriously. But I don't see it, but we allow others, that are the powers of the world, to dictate what happens in our own communities. Like, we are like, I mean, and a display of that was like during Hurricane Katrina. Like, we had so many people like, oh, how the boats just went past us. Like, of course, these people don't like you, and this is why you should have your own stuff. So, the documentary though that I was referring to earlier, about the gentleman who said that 40% of the jobs the AI created is one AI. It says, in the age of AI, it's a full film by Frontline, right? I'm still trying to find this. I want to say it was NASA, but anyway, they get together and they decide what's going to happen for everybody. And I don't think there's no Black people at the table, not even any African nations. It's outside of maybe Egypt, but they're not the real people of. We're not gonna go there, but you know what I'm saying. So, um, and in this, with all this is happening, they're implementing, you know, Big Brother to Terminator degree, okay, to futuristic things that people didn't think of. You're gonna so in the midst of losing all these jobs and economic collapse, and then wanting to turn over to a digital currency, you're gonna have it to where, especially for us now, you ain't gonna be able to go nowhere without your face being scanned, not even at Walmart to go get some diapers, okay? Your face being scanned, and not only them tracking you, but being able to pull up whatever on you, okay? So if you do a little dirt or whatever, they know all of that. So immediately, doesn't matter where you're at, and it's not, and it's not a because technology is rapidly growing, and they had the policy hasn't exactly caught up yet to policies that protect our privacy hasn't caught up yet. So and obviously these people the Facebooks and stuff, they're billion billionaires, right? So they're basically you know got their hands in our government in their back pocket, and the governmental agencies that are supposed to police these people and be for us, right? And making sure that they're not uh treading on our rights, right? And private our rights to privacy and things like that. So so if you have a record, if you don't have a record, they're gonna know about like the things that you say, where you go, how the facial recognition can also like jobs are starting to interview with facial recognition, so they can tell if you're lying, they can tell if you're high, all that stuff. Like it's going to be everywhere. So, if everywhere. And the things that we do and we get into, some of y'all like to little smoky smoke before work in places where that it's not legal to do so. Okay, you do a little do a little something strange with some change. All they're gonna match all that shit up at instantly because okay, it's not like you're not gonna be able to get away with anything. You're not going to have any privacy. Your toilet literally will tell on you. Okay, that's if you get into the whole smart homes and things like that. It's going to be to that effect. So I think that as a people, we are really, really behind, and they're doing that on purpose. They, parade these drama filled TV shows and these celebrities. They're there to distract us because they just keep us entertained while they make plans for us and everybody else in the world, like them and the other peoples of the world who have their shit together and represent their peoples. We're the only motherfuckers that are not at the table, okay? As even in Africa, okay? And they taking the stuff from Africa. And so trust me when I say that you should be stop paying attention to the twerking and the Lizzos and all the little things that pop up on our feeds. I'm gonna tell you now, it's a feedback loop. They are learning what to feed us. It's all intentional. Even some of the Facebook ex-executives have said blatantly that they are tearing at the fabric of society and they're putting everybody in feedback loops. So they're feeding you what they want to feed you. And they've been doing social experiments on us through their platforms. Okay. So they're intentionally feeding us a lot of things about, injustices and, white Becky acting crazy, don't want to open the door, so they're feeding us those things. It says okay. So they're feeding us these things while just keeping us pacified. We are out of everybody, we watch the most television even still today, though. I would assume television would convert to smart devices, iPads and phones. Okay, so They just keep us pacified, and I promise you, we are going to be in we're in trouble. We're not only not going to have any jobs, I feel like they're going to round us up, and I think that they can renege if resources are strained, if something happens in conjunction with the jobs going away, whether our economy collapses or something happens, and the resources, meaning the food and the water and our infrastructure, and they're trying to keep control. Don't think that they won't revoke our 13th Amendment. And if you sit up and say, oh, they would never do that, the world has shunned us, or nobody's gonna come to save us either. Who gonna check them? Nobody. They don't really care about us. Look at how the black people, black Africans, if you watch a lot of documentaries and stuff about even in like Italy, all these different countries, France and stuff, black people are treated just as badly. Quiet as kept. Like they be letting them Africans be letting them actually physically hit them and beat them up. Like Martin Luther King to the fifth power, okay, of non-violent. Okay, so who gonna check them? Don't nobody really like us anyway. So who gonna check them? Who gonna if they revoked it and people won't just be on board or be like, like no one has we don't have. It's not like United States when they go in and they're talking about, they're telling us like, oh, so and so is bombing their citizens with nerve gas or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why our government's telling us that so they can go over there and do some shit they ain't got no business doing. Well, it's a reason because it's a reason. It's something that they want, whether it's oil or something, control or foothold, and that it's strategic, geographically. It is something. It's a reason. Okay, for us, we don't have no value to nobody in the world. So if they revoke that, who gonna check them? Who gonna come over here and check them and fight for us and come and invade? Hey, United States just revoked and enslaved the people that they said was free and rah rah rah. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we're gonna give you ultimatum, America. You better do this. You better do it, or we're coming. We're coming for you. Shoot, they're not. I want black folks, need to get their head out the clouds. For some reason, we think that we are equal and we're not. Every time they be talking, they're not talking about the future, and they're talking amongst each other. We just think, I don't know, have this fantasy of inclusion, like we really ain't included. We really are not. When they be talking, they be about the future and things, they're talking to each other, and you could see it in their movies and in their sitcoms and things, how the future is going to be, and it's going to be some black people sprinkled about. But if the middle class is going away, like they're saying it's going to go away, so it's just the rich and the poor, kind of like in a lot of these third world countries, like Ghana, like they're trying to get us to go to, So if it's going to be like that, you would think like maybe the ones that are going to be okay that are black are like the ultra rich, like the Diddy's and the J's. Okay, not Boom Quisha that got her a couple of degrees. You know what I'm saying? She making 100,000 a year, but she still has student loan debt. She still has a home debt, all debts. A house is a debt. Let me tell you, it's a debt. You had to get credit in order to pay. You didn't pay for it in cash. It's a debt. It's a liability. It's a debt. Okay. That's not your house anyway until you pay it. If you stop paying on it and watch what happens. Or stop paying your taxes, property taxes, and watch what happens. You don't own that house. Okay? It's a debt. And that's another thing that is very plausible, people, very plausible, is debtor's prison, and that's going to be all across the board, not just black people, because everybody is in debt. They talk about the student loan is debt is just out I think it's astronomical, and they don't know what's going to do. They don't know if they just going to like wipe the debt out or what's going to happen. But student loan debt is the biggest debt that we have. Like, you have, and again, in an economy where, you know, something's happening, whether it's like I said, we have another great crash, something like that, and you have all this debt, they don't want their money. Why? What are we thinking? Like, I don't think we even think of those levels. We all like, if it's not about some celebrity, this or that, we like it's infighting. Oh, you a homosexual, or oh, that's why black women, blah blah blah, and oh, black men, blah blah blah. And I mean, we it's divisive. It's divisive rhetoric when we're other peoples are able to, yes, they do have infighting, okay, first and foremost, but they're able to go, okay, wait a minute, especially right now, they're like, oh, well, something's not right. Because trust me, I be in these groups, and I be a fly on the wall in a lot of these places where white folks is roaming, and the ones that are like on high alert, like what's going on, big brother, fly, hey, this is they're trying to tread on my dreams, they're trying to enslave me, uh you know and to me it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, you don't want to get treated like a black person. But then it's not, because it's going to be way worse, way worse. Like, your thoughts will not be your own. They're even having TED talks about that. So if you think of some shit, you fucked up. This is what's coming, because we never stopped these elitists, globalists and things 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. It's my, not just a civil rights thing. I'm just saying, they've used racism as a device to divide people. It was a mechanism that was created to divide people, keep us divided, when it was really about them and us. But that's a whole nother video. Now it's too late. It's just too late. It's too late. So we need to get on board. We need to wake up. You need to stop spending money on things. A lot of y'all went out and bought Christmas gifts and stuff. I didn't. I stopped celebrating Christmas like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't celebrate Christmas. I do try to do the Kwanzaa thing, because the gifts are more meaningful, and I can sit and educate while I'm doing it. Like, we can learn some things. It's something that is, and you have gifts that are, you have to put thought behind, and it could be things that are educational and things like that. So I do that. But remember, those cards are debts, houses is debts. Get your credit clean up as much as possible. If them little twos and fews, bills that may be like twos and fews, a couple of $100 or something like that, or less, pay that. Keep on them water bills and them light bills. Pay out, don't, especially if you're younger, definitely don't get into that boat. If you're older, sis, bruh, we need to start paying that stuff off. That you need to start paying things off. Start with the small stuff. The smaller medical bills. Get out of debt now. Get out of debt now. Now. And a part of the getting out of debt is breaking free of that psychology of what they have put on everybody. It is consumerism. Oh, you look like, to look like this, you have to have this makeup, you have to have this look. Oh, to feel like a man, you want a F-150, or you want to feel rich, or feel like you got the money, you popping, or whatever, you BMW, and you want to get. It's all consumerism and it's manipulation. You don't need all that shit. You really don't. You really don't. And to really save money, you're gonna have to get rid of some of that stuff. And to pay things off, you're gonna have to get rid of some of that stuff. The going out, the going on trips. We need to back. And I know it's this whole movement of, yay, destination, blah blah blah. These black travel things. We're going everywhere, exotic places and stuff like that. Now is not the time. I don't care what they say. Now is not the time, especially the bulk of us that are doing it. You dipping into savings and pension plans. You putting them on credit cards and things like that, or you have debt that you could have paid with that $2,000, $3,000, even $1,500, but you going on a trip to Puerto Rico. Okay, I'm telling you, and that's don't. I'm telling you, you need to cut on your spending on things that you don't need. Bruh, sis, if you got that habit, a lot of y'all got that habit and y'all can't really afford that habit. Okay. Both of them habits, them cigarettes too. Okay. I'm talking about them cigarettes. So some of y'all smoke 2, 3 packs a week. Okay. You need to start cutting down on that because that's worth some money. If you can pinch it and save what you can, get out of debt. Learn how to grow food. I have been gardening for about 4 years, 5 years, 5 years. Okay, I've been adding to the things that I grow, but I grow all the regulars, the peppers, the greens, and everything like that. This past summer, I tried to grow some watermelons, none came in, but I'm working on that. But at least you can, even if you live in an apartment or you live in a concrete jungle, so to speak, if you live in the heart of the city, you have a balcony or a stoop or something, you can do what's called urban gardening, where you garden in pots. Okay. There's, extra things that you would need to do because you're not working with soil that's already has certain nutrients is in it. But you can buy those things to get your soil right and put, get you some pots and things like that. You may not be able to have a lot, but at least it's something. Because if things get tight, a lot of times in general when things get tight, I don't have statistics, but I'm pretty sure the food budget is the first thing that suffers in general, just now, even now. Like if your car break down, you got to make that payment. What suffers? Food budget. Going out to eat, things like that, or just the grocery budget in general. So just think of, even if you live in somewhere where you only have so many months to grow food, just think of how much you can save during those months. Yeah, it's work. It's a trade-off. You're working. You have to pull weeds. You have to do, especially if you have land that you can work with, whether even a little patch of land to work. Yeah, it's hard work because you gotta make the time. Okay, you have to make the time. But I talked to, I mentioned this to somebody, and it was like, oh, I've been in my job for 8 years, no, 10 years, and I have my 401k and my pension. And I'm just like, that's still not going to save you. I mean, do we really sit back, count? I had the number too, but it's up in the millions or close to a million. Like to retire, you know how much money you have to save just by the how expensive things are now. Do you know there's companies? I don't want to say it was Ford, but it's one of the major companies that froze the pensions of their employees. I think it either froze it or froze half of it. So things that these corporations, you don't work for them, all you and snick and grinned and bit your tongue for, and they shaft you in the end because at the end of the day, it's about them. That's why I no longer shook and jive. I come in, do my business. I take pride in my work and things like that, and I leave. You know, but yeah, uh, those pensions and things like that. That is not something you should depend on. Remember Enron and all that. No, don't don't get bougie, okay, and think that, oh, I have my 401k because trust me, when something goes down, they'll find a way to not give you your money. Don't trust the system. The system is ran by a conglomerate of corporations, okay? And they have the money to slip some things in to get away with stuff. But as far as us, my suggestion outside of getting out of debt, I think that you need to really wake up. Yes, police brutality and all that shit is an issue, but wait till they roll out the fucking robots they're gonna treat just like they do police dogs. Okay, if you touch it, you go into jail. You touch the police officer, yes, and be scanning your face, and you think, and some of y'all be like, "Well, you should be alive," but hell, a lot of us was alive during slavery, and I don't think, a lot of them was saying the same thing, and I don't think it was best to be alive. I would have rather been dead. I'd rather died getting free. Okay, then somebody in the other cotton on the other side of this cotton row telling me at least we alive. Fuck out of here. And then the person can lay up on me when they want to, take my children, do whatever. What type what type of quality of life? Like we comfortable with being at the bottom. At least we alive. At least we're alive. And then for a lot of you, y'all talk about how, glory isn't going to be in death when Jesus, you go home to Jesus. So why are you afraid to die then? If you believe that, in that, that's why I'm like, but I'm telling you, things are gonna get bad. And to me, I don't trust the system because the system was created to only be plentiful for certain families and certain people who was blessed or knighted or whatever you want to call it to enter that echelon of wealth, not just with black people, with the other ones too. And now you have these tech giants who are pretty much, think of the tech giants as generals. Think of how we were when we discovered the atom bomb. That is what tech is going to be. But more so, it's like that, but sophisticated. That is how they're about to implement all this stuff. Instead of just blowing you up in a plume of smoke of atom, nuclear, whatever radiation, they just, have something that's, in your body, a chip. And if you don't act right, then boom, you're dead. Or just the constant surveillance of your mind. You can't go anywhere. Like you are a prisoner. Like it's like it will put shackle slavery to shame. It's an oldie but goodie, and it's old, but pay attention. Go watch the movie 1984. It was on either Netflix or Amazon for a while here, just recently. And I know it's old, and a lot of y'all be like, "Oh, I'll be falling asleep. It's boring." But that's not what you're supposed. It's not supposed to be entertaining for you. Look at what is the premise of that whole movie is about. That is what's coming. It's not an if, but when. And I promise you, this is the part that black folks need to understand. We are going to be at the the bottom of the bottom, underneath their poorest of poor. Do you understand? With no jobs, a cashless society, and probably before that they can get to that point, there's going to be a economic collapse. Okay, and I know, like I said, we don't get into stop, kitty. We don't get into a lot of those things. We don't even pay attention to a lot of stuff, like what happened in Venezuela and things like that when they had a blackout and a collapse to a degree, but it was the poorer people. Like it was messed up. Hospitals were didn't have any power. Like people, it was bad. It was bad. I know we don't pay attention to world events like that. We don't. We too busy on police brutality and what Lizzo was doing with her square booty, and that's why the black woman is the reason why our communities is fucked up. Just divisive shit. blaming each other when we really, I know y'all don't pay attention to stuff like that, but it's cues that are happening all over. There is a province in China, I think they call like, is it the Yigers, Wiggers, or something like that, and they're Muslims. They're mostly made up of Muslims, and it's a social experiment. I ain't heard the U.S. talking about they finna, they want to invoke sanctions because of what they're doing to them people. Like, go watch the documentary Frontline. Go to, I think, like 34 minutes in, or a minute, or hour and 34 minutes. But it's 34, either 34 minutes or hour and 34 minutes in. Watch what they're doing to them people. That's going to happen to us. The people can't go nowhere. Random facial scans. You have to have certain things on your door, like a barcode thing. For everybody that's in there, somebody in your household can get you, like, mess up your social credit score. All that stuff is coming, and that's going to be tied to food and water. That's not some futuristic thing that's going to happen when your kids get old. That is going to happen within the next 10 to 15 years. It is going to happen by 3035. For one, the economy, they can't kick the can down the road no longer. So it's definitely, a collapse is coming. They want to implement this because of these people are demonic and insidious and evil. They want to bring about this new this is the new world order. This is the stuff that everybody was calling people conspiracy theorists 20 years ago about. Again, puppet and puppet master, go, because a lot of you people, that think that you're smart, you're book smart, whatever, with your little degrees and things like that. Where's the data? I don't see. I mean, when of course when you're doing things covert, is to look like you're not doing it. But this is the new world order unfolding before your eyes. Tech will be God. And white folks are trying to get off this planet for some reason. That's a whole nother video. Like, why are they so trying to get off this planet? It's a lot of things are going on. Again, because Black people don't pay attention to this type of stuff. Most of y'all don't. Y'all too enthralled in police brutality and, Black women wearing weave and bullshit. Shit that don't really, are symptoms to a bigger problem, but really should be the back burner right now. Something is coming, and it's going to be bad, and it's going to be worse for us. A lot of our jobs are going away. 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 They're going away. And some of you probably know what I'm talking about. You think about that new little software or whatever they're saying that they're implementing, they're trying to work on, or they worked on, or they've implemented already. That they say is to help you, and it's not to help you, it's to replace you. I don't care what they say in your quarterly meetings. Don't listen. I don't care. They're supposed to tell you that because they don't want you to panic. Okay, so they're going to say, no, it's not that. It's, to help the system in errors or whatever, or, to make things more fluid, whatever bullshit story that they tell you. At the end of the day, a company wants to be viable and profitable. And the name of the game is decreasing their human resource in order to be a viable company in the boom of technology in the tech age. Everybody's going to be doing it. Why? Why would you employ? Do you know that not only that your income costs them, they have to bond insurance each and every individual. You sit at a desk. That desk costs money. If you have a computer at your desk, the computer costs money. Each monitor costs money. The software applications that you use to do your daily work, even Windows to log in, that shit costs money for each individual. Learn how to spell first for each individual. And you're not black, so shut the fuck up talking to me. For each individual, all that costs money. Ask anybody in HR who or purchase it. They'll tell you the same thing. That every employee of in a company, it costs money, not just their salary. You think they're not finna they're not technology. You think that it's if you have a business, even a rinky dinky business, you know that that's true. You want to make money. So you're going to decrease your overhead as much as possible. And just like how it is in the government, all the money is going to be at the top of the corporate structure. All the money is at the top. They hoard the money at the top. And soon we will have no middle class. It's here. Black folks, I'm telling you, we are going to be at the bottom of the bottom. And when people are hungry, their children are hungry, not like hungry or like now. I'm talking about hungry, displaced, no good water, no job, not job given to a Mexican. No, the job is gone, given to artificial intelligence. What is going to happen? Humanity breaks down. Survive. People should do things to survive. People do things that they wouldn't have done otherwise to survive. And remember, it's not going to affect everybody. It's the upper echelons, through people who make 300 million plus, they're going to be fine. But anybody, I'd say from 200,000 on down, need to pay attention. And if you think you make your little 60,000, you in trouble. Okay, black people, white folks are worried. There's a set of white folks that are worried that they talk about this all the time. We don't talk about this shit, and we need to talk about this shit. Okay, pay attention. Get it together. Get your credit together. Meaning, pay off all that shit. Pay us off as much shit as you can. Don't try not to rack up any debt, because this stuff is around the corner. It's not like it's around the corner. You don't want to accrue any more debt. People talking about going back to school for what? For another degree that you cannot pay for, that the jobs are going away for? What? What? And she finna go be a doctor? What? Are you dumb? I'm telling you, debtor's prison is coming. The debt is, especially with student debt, that shit is ballooning out of control. They don't know what to do. Debtor's prison is coming. Learn how to grow your own food, because that will help you feed your stomach and your children's stomach. Okay? And I'll put another one out there, because there are I think Obama, I forgot, it was a order that he did, but while he was in office, that's a whole nother story. Me and you black folks got to talk about Obama. That's a whole nother video. But it's has something to do with, in a state of emergency, if something goes down, they're going to start going to people's houses. They have land that are growing food. They're going to go in people's houses and take food to go to me, I project the FEMA camps, to where they can feed people, or they won't say FEMA camps, but they'll say, food banks, or, stations, so that, they can feed people and stuff. And it needs to go to these, to help, so that they can, they're feeding people and getting people food and water. But it'd be, these holding stations, it basically the FEMA camps. Okay. But they won't say FEMA camps. They won't say it. That word is tainted. They'll never say it. They'll say holding facilities or whatever, or something. They'll probably say something to make it sound like it's comforting and inviting. It's the help. Come on, we have water over here. We have food. Come on. You know, they're not gonna force you out your house like they did the Nazis. The Nazis did the Jews. It was just too obvious, right? That was just too obvious. They're not gonna do that. No, come on. Yeah, come on. It might have the police or military and the bullhorn coming through the communities. You know, think about this. We need to pay attention. It's happening. It's going to happen. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of this one. Uh, I can't stress enough that we need to get on our P's and Q's because the end is nigh for us. For us, okay. For us, it's bad. It's gonna be big bada boom. It's gonna be way worse than how it's gonna hit white people because are we already underneath the bottom? And when the shit hits the fan, you think they gonna care? They don't care about us. They don't care about us collectively. They got some that they done initiated. Most of us are. And I'm not talking about them little alpha mega groups or whatever y'all go to in college. And if you're not a part of the nation, you kind of fucked too because the nation has thousands upon thousands of acres of land because they know what's coming. Okay, while y'all churches take your money and go buy themselves, you preachers go buy themselves jets and shit like that. They're not even making plans. They're not in preparation. They haven't prepared at all. Nation of Islam has. They've been preparing for a very long time. And if you're not in there that you're not in certain ranks, I'm pretty sure it's going to be by certain types of ranking or some shit. I don't know, but you won't get no food rations. Watch the movie Obsolete. Truth Stream Media is the people who made it. Melissa and I keep forgetting his name. Anyway, they actually have a website. They have a few other movies called The Minds of Men. That's another good one. It's a documentary, actually. I'm telling that's a whole nother story. But watch that if you can. I know we don't like to read a lot, so watch the movie 1984. It's old. It's old and set, but it's not. You're not supposed to be entertained. Just pay attention to how the society is structured, and they have this. You're being watched at all times in this movie, and they made this movie a long time ago. This is why I say that it's a puppet and puppet master system. They do things in increments and decadal increments where you just can't, and it's subtle to where you have no proof of it until it's actually done took place. And then you go back and go, oh, okay, ABC, I see what you did. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You went A, boom, okay. You don't see it coming until it already happens. They have think tanks to think that shit up to, and it's on everybody. Everybody is being bamboozled, but we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. That's all I want to say, y'all. Y'all be safe. Let's get out of this whole divisiveness. We need to, yes, police brutality is a thing, but we need to not move past it, but we need to understand that there's more pressing issues. There's things that are coming that's far worse than them. Okay, that's going to take over their job for them. Okay, things are far worse that are going to happen. There's more things more important than going back and forth about Kemet and if we are more we from how many of us is really from Africa? We was here before the land. All that shit don't matter. Oh, black women wearing weave. Oh, the black men ain't this, that. Oh, black women, oh, on the welfare, and that's why our kids is fucked up, and that's why our kids are gay, and all the blank, all that divisive shit. That shit needs to cease. Paying attention to these celebrities, love and hip hop, all that. Cut all that shit out. That shit is to distract us. It is poison. It is poison. What celebrities is doing, all that shit is entertainment. They have a specific function. That's why if they don't follow the rules, they go down, or they get blacklisted, or they don't get jobs anymore because they have a certain function. It is to distract people, and we are the ones that they mostly distract. We're the ones that watch the most TV out of every other culture. Stop watching the fucking TV. It is a trap. Okay? Stop. Don't. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares about whose booty, flat booty was? Who cares? What so and so doing? What Bay do? Who cares? They are safe, especially Bay. Bay is good. Bay is good. You need to get together. You need to get together and figure out what you're going to get ready, because it's here. Get ready. Stop depending on that job. That job is not going to be there. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to feed yourself? Start thinking about other ways to make money outside of working the job. Do you do hair? Do you make clothes? Everything, anything. Sell fruits and vegetables, tutoring. It's all types of things. A lot of people are doing Uber. There's people who make $80,000 doing Uber, okay, and Lyft. That should tell you the state of our economy. That's just in general as American living in America. That's the black folks plight aside. That should be a red flag that somebody's making $80,000 is doing lifts. Pay attention. Be safe. Save your money. Keep your money in your pocket. Don't go out. Stop spending on clothes, unnecessary clothes. Stop going out to the club. Stop. Cut your cigarette habit out if you can. Down if you can. Limit on your tweeds and things, especially if you are in a state that is illegal anyway. Okay, Jordans, all these things, these bags, and all this. Figure out a way. Cut down the money. Stop borrowing money. Stop putting things on credit. Stop. Debtor's prison is coming. All these things that are going to happen, it's going to affect us the hardest. The hardest. We are going to be affected the worst. Okay, we are going to get it the worst out of everybody. Like the one child that got the ass whooped, they was first, they got the ass whooped. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. We are in trouble.